Hi, I'm Wheeler Winston Dixon, James Ryan Professor of Film Studies at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and I'd like to talk for a few minutes about the work of Charlie Chaplin, who is undoubtedly one of the cinema's greatest comedians. Born in England, Chaplin emigrated to the United States. He was a vaudeville comedian who worked on stage, but he found a home at Keystone originally, making Keystone comedies, and there he honed his craft. One of his earliest films was a movie called The Kid Auto Races at Venice. And this film had absolutely no plot at all. It was basically a soapbox derby that was going on at Venice, California, and Mack Sennett said, just jump in at the finish line and make a nuisance of yourself, and we'll just build something out of that. And it's the first evocation of the tramp character on screen, who he would build up over the years. As time went by, Chaplin became incredibly well paid, and then, of course, he went on to direct a series of feature films in his own studio. He was one of the few comedians to have a combination of business sense. He was also a brilliant screenwriter, director, and actor. And by 1925, when he made The Gold Rush, he had complete creative control over his work. He also very famously resisted the coming of sound, saying that the moment that the tramp speaks, all the mystery and magic will be gone. And so he made City Lights in 1931 with the tramp character. 1936, his satire of modern industrial methods called Modern Times. 1936, but still essentially a silent picture with just music and sound effects. It wasn't until 1940 when he made The Great Dictator, which was his brilliant satire of Adolf Hitler, that he actually spoke on the screen. He played Adenoid Hinkle, who was a parody of Adolf Hitler, and does a fantastic scene where he floats the earth as this globe, my world, this balletic dance with this huge globe. It's just an amazing film. After that, his career became more problematic for many people. He directed a brilliant but very dark comedy called Monsieur Verdoux, about a mass murderer who more or less kills a series of wives for money. Limelight in 1952, which was sort of about an aging clown. A King in New York in 1957, and then A Countess in Hong Kong, his final feature, in 1967. Darkening all of this just a shade was the fact that in 1952 he was forced to leave the United States. On a publicity tour of England, he was refused readmittance by the FBI and labeled as a communist. He settled in England, then moved to Switzerland, and it was only in 1972 he was brought back and given an Academy Award, which he so richly deserved.
Oh, you're wonderful, sweet people. Thank you.
He was also a great composer. He wrote a lot of songs that are pop songs. For example, Love, Here Is My Song, which was a huge hit for Petula Clark, and a surprisingly rich songbook. So Charlie Chaplin, a Renaissance man, one of the great comedians of all time, and someone whose films you should absolutely see at earliest possible convenience. I'm Wheeler Winston Dixon for Frame by Frame.